There are three components to sustainability that should be an integral part of every project. The first part of the sustainability is the resource sustainable? If we put in rainwater harvesting, if we're drilling wells, if we're building pipelines, are they going to be sustainable in terms of the basic resource? Is the water going to be there 5 to 10 years from now?
If you're taking too much water, then the trees die. That affects the erosion of the soil, and the situation just gets worse.
If we help the community do something, is there an ongoing capability of supplying spare parts, maintaining? For example, if one of the systems includes pumps, do we have spare parts for the pumps, glands, valves, and so forth? Most important of all is the human resource sustainability. Are people being trained to understand? Now, this is a very important part of the buy-in, but it's more than just getting the buy-in. They need to be given the know-how, the skills to maintain and manage the system.
Technology alone won't work. We have to make sure that we develop sustainable programs in country that involve training, education, education, and education.
What we've done is to make sure that the provision of clean water is just the entry point.
If you want to eradicate poverty, just building a tank and walking away is not the solution. If you can structure it in the way that we've done it, is by providing incentives to do other things, you get a much bigger bang for your buck.
With the RCC group, we then send trainers who go there continuously, training them in various, income-generating projects, sanitation, agriculture, all those kind of things. We insist that they plant 100 trees. And again, we've brought in the microfinance.
How to deal with problems. When you have a group which is establishing maybe 20 tanks in an area, who gets the first one? Who's going to get the benefit? There's a potential conflict. So we teach them how to resolve these issues.
So ideally, it's an integrated project, and it's worked very well.
The complex part of any implementation program is the training, the education, and the follow-up that is required in country. And that's why partnerships are so important.
In each of the countries we're involved, we've developed a relationship with some local groups and also with NGOs which are involved in the area who have employees staying on site.
Whatever is appropriate for that community is the kind of alliance we will engage in. It could be an alliance in which Rotary takes the lead, but it could be an alliance in which a UNICEF or a UNESCO or a CARE or Water for People have the lead.
Rotary has a membership worldwide of 1.2 million people, very influential people, people who are able to make things happen, whether financially, politically, or just to bring innovation also into the public policy domain. The United Nations Environment Programme is an incubator, if you want, for the capacity of Rotarians worldwide to do things not only in a sort of one-off project basis, but in fact to try and help scale up an idea like rainwater harvesting.
Furthermore, because we're part of the community and have access to volunteers, we can carry out projects for a fraction of the cost.
So organisations are now looking towards us to use our resources, to use our ability, to use our skills to better perform international projects. And at this stage, water projects are really very high on the priority list.
Rotary clubs around the world can do a couple of things. Number one, they can educate the people living in their communities, in their developed communities, of the water crisis.
I think there's a great opportunity for Rotary in this work on water, because water almost has a universal appeal. And I've seen many Rotary clubs organize a fundraising drive in their own community, not just among Rotarians, but throwing it wide open, bringing an outstanding speaker, inviting the community in, asking the community for money, but more particularly helping the community understand the work that Rotary is doing, and in many cases finding people who want to join Rotary once they realize the extent and scope of our humanitarian effort around the world.
They can partner with Rotary clubs in developing countries. They can go and visit that country. They can recognize the problem by seeing it firsthand.
We receive lots of Rotarians annually to the Dominican Republic. It binds that instead of the clubs being just local clubs, the clubs are truly international clubs.
The sharp end of Rotary are 32,000 clubs around the world, all responding to the local needs. And they can draw on support from the district governor, and from the zone, and from the Rotary Foundation.
Rotary is an amazing organization that allows people from all over the world to sit down and have a coffee and talk about needs, and it combines people that need it as well as people that have money.
Making water everyone's business. If we create that kind of motto, then I think that will be the biggest kind of gift to the mankind we Rotarians can give.
This program has really helped a lot of people, and the demand for the services that we are rendering is enormous. We've always been struggling to meet the demand for water tanks from the community.
It is in fact transforming the life and livelihood in this very, very small, remote African village. The women are opening small businesses.
The fact that the women now have water that they can clean themselves, it just created a much better sense of self.
We have seen in the Dominican Republic where children are healthy, children can go to school, children can become educated because their health is not compromised. As Rotary, I think we have an obligation to reach out and touch these children's lives throughout the world, and one of the best ways that we can do it is to provide potable water.
It was a joy to see the smiles on these people's faces as a result of water.
I think Rotarians can be part of a rethinking of development models and established patterns of doing things. As we look at water resources management across the world and meeting the Millennium Development Goals on water supply and sanitation, what we're offering with the models on rainwater harvesting is a low-cost, high-impact, highly effective and replicable approach to dealing with water resource management today.
The wonderful thing about Rotary is Rotary starts from the principle of service above self, and it is very practical. Rotary is saying, let's get the job done. And we're not asking permission, we're not begging others to help us do it, we're just going to do it. So we take it on. That's what started Polio Plus in 1985. Then the world jumped in afterwards. So if Rotary says right now, which it is saying in its chapters all over the world, give access to safe water. If Rotary says this, which it is saying, and it doesn't have to ask for the politicians' permission. Rotary's in the villages, it's taking practical approaches, it understands community leadership, and then it inspires others, our political leadership as well. Well, if Rotary can do it and it's proving success, we want to be part of that. And that leadership of Rotary is essential.